And now, America's most exciting radio talk show, The Savage Nation. And here he is, Michael Savage.
Yeah, this Thanksgiving, 42.2 million Americans will be on food stamps. This is roughly the size of the populations of California and Connecticut combined. Now, you know, many of the people on food stamps don't need food stamps. We all know that, but I don't want to talk about food stamps. It's an old story. It's a scam. By and large, it's used as a supplement by people who don't even need the food stamp. I want to talk about longevity. Which women live the longest, nationality-wise, and which men live the longest nationality, which look the best. Why do I want to talk about it? I have no idea why. Because the news is quite depressing. The military is being purged. Illinois is moving to grant licenses to illegal immigrants because nobody will stop Rahm Emanuel. Panetta says the war on Al-Qaeda is taking a new direction. What he really means is the war on the generals is taking a new direction. He's got away with a bloodless coup with hardly anyone in the media noticing it but me. FBI says 4 California men charged in alleged terror plot. 3 California men. You have to read the whole story to find out who they were. As expected, they were not Irish nuns, but they were of Muslim descent or of the Muslim religion. And, of course, that has no meaning because that's religious profiling. Of course, if you had followed the edicts of Hamas or of their front groups in America, you wouldn't even notice that Muslims were related to terrorism in America. In fact, according to them, you shouldn't even arrest anyone of a Muslim because they're overrepresented amongst those arrested for terrorism. Therefore, ipso facto, they're being targeted because of their religious affiliation. And so, therefore, they should all be released. They simulated combat with paintball rifles, wiped their Facebook profiles of any Islamic references, and concocted new cover stories. Well, that shows the racism inherent in America and in the FBI, according to the front groups for Hamas in America. Because the fact of the matter is they were picked on because they were Muslims. That's why they had to wipe their Facebook profile of any Islamic references. Because the FBI was targeting them because of their Islamic relationship. Federal investigators said Kabir met DeLeon and Santana at a hookah bar. And again, that's again racial profiling. Now, why would the FBI look at hookah bars as opposed to a nunnery? They have no right to be snooping on hookah bars. That is, again, according to Hamas front groups, profiling of Muslims. If they weren't looking at hookah bars, they wouldn't have noticed that they were planning an Islamic terrorist attack. Then there wouldn't be an arrest of people of any Muslim relationship. And therefore, the numbers of Muslims arrested for terrorism would be lower. And we'd be in a better America that would be more inclusive and less racist, according to the Hamas front groups in America who visit the White House and the FBI to lecture them on diversity on a regular basis. Kabir, a naturalized U.S. citizen, another wonderful immigrant from Afghanistan. We should bring more of them in from Afghanistan, Iraq, more. Bring in more Middle Easterners. Well, again, it's racist to think that way. But it's logical to think that if you come from the Middle East, the percentage of terrorists slipping in amongst you would be higher. Just as during World War II, in the late 30s, for example, if you were of German nationality and you came to America, there was a higher likelihood that you would be related to the Nazi Party than if you came, let us say, from Australia. But in those days, men used common sense to stop the Nazis before they sank ships in our harbors. In America today, they're not allowed to use common sense. In fact, the FBI is taught whenever common sense dictates that this is going to happen, what you do is you erase it from your mind, and then you arrest Irish nuns, white Irish nuns in wheelchairs, to make certain that the arrest records are balanced and look like an average college catalog. How this ever happened, I'll never know. 4 California men charged in alleged terror plot. And a Muslim, I don't understand that. I mean, that really is an embarrassment, especially to the Hamas front groups here in America. Shall I name a few of them for you? A few of them sued me along the way. DeLeon said he hoped he could be on the front lines of C4 in an attack. Gojali, a U.S. citizen. Gojali? Oh, Gojali. A U.S. citizen was recruited in late September, and he said he would be willing to kill I watch videos on the internet, he said, and I see what they're doing to our brothers and sisters. It makes me cry and it gets me like I'm so angered with them, Gojali said. So they plan to go to Afghanistan, how they would avoid detection. They made believe they were going to open an Afghani orphanage or pose as cologne salesmen. That's interesting. I have a long story about cologne when you go look at cars in certain places, how you can't touch the door handles after they... Why do they have such colognes in those countries? I don't use cologne myself. They finally devised the cover story that they were going to attend Kabir's fictional wedding. I'm shocked that the FBI could even still arrest anyone who isn't a white male from a military background who served nobly in Afghanistan or Iraq. You think the FBI is only looking at returning veterans or those opposed to abortion or those who wear a cross. Shocking that they're able to do this. But this is early on in Obama 2.0, you know.